Ooh. Dario, the Slang Gussies.
First IRL podcast ever.
Damn, bro.
With my boy.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course. I've been actually stoked to do this too. Not gonna lie.
Bro, you've been, in my mind and in my heart, the #1 guest I've been trying to get on here.
For real?
Yeah. And then when you told me you moved back to LA, I was like, yeah.
And then you never got me on. You never hit me up at all.
And then I kept lagging. And then you were like, hey, I'm actually moving back to the Bay. And I was like, fuck.
Well, good thing we got, I'm glad we got it planned out for today because I wasn't doing fuck all today.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I told you too. I was like, Sunday, you're mine.
Yeah.
You belong to me, Dario.
And Esmon's been driving me around all weekend because I locked my fucking car in the garage. So he's been my Uber driver trying to cut locks and shit.
Uber driver. This man had me driving all around the city because he's like, bro,
all around the city.
I got to cut the lock to my garage. I don't have the key. My neighbor has it. He's out of town. I was like, have you tried just knocking? And
when he says all around the city, he means down the street. And I bought you dinner. And I didn't buy you dinner. I made you dinner.
You're right. Damn.
That shit was busting though.
That shit was good, bro. You really throw down on Korean barbecue.
Hey, it's easy. This shit was pre-marinated. Like I didn't do a damn thing, honestly.
He's like, I just had to throw it on the grill.
Yeah, dude. And it wowed you.
That shit was busting, yeah. But anyways, back to that little key story. You tried to drill it off. You tried to hack it off. You tried to saw it off. Everything you could possibly do to try to get it off. And literally, I was like, bro, you should probably just like try to knock on your neighbor's door. Like I saw someone come in and you're like, I don't think they're home. You knocked. The dude with the key answered and he's like, oh yeah, man, I got it right here. And
that was the first time he answered though. Cause I put a note on the door and I was like, hey, look, my car's in the garage. Can you please leave it on the porch? And then I came back, the note was gone and the grandma who initially answered the door was there. So I was like, okay, well, if he was home, he would have came out and gave it to me. But I guess he just took the note and was like, fuck this guy, I guess. I don't know.
He just ghosted you.
I know, but he came out and he was just like, oh, here you go. I was like,
and you're like,
after I tried to saw it off with this little tiny hacksaw.
There's just a bunch of like scratch marks and just like dents and shit on the lock. Now it's all beat up.
I know. I bought a new lock, but.
Did you really?
Well, yeah, I never returned
it. You never used it though. You never used it.
No.
All right, what are you going to use that one for?
I was just like, I have a lock, I guess.
True. You never know when you need a good lock, bro.
I don't even I don't have anything of value that I need to lock up, particularly, to be honest with you.
Use it for the next garage.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just keep it around. I'll just have this lock for years until I fucking get a garage with a lock, I guess.
Damn. Anyways, how's that Liquid Death? Leave a review. Like a Yelp review. 1 out of 5 stars.
Honestly, I've been drinking LaCroix lately.
Really?
Just not like from my own, like, I wasn't the one that picked it out, but it's just been in my fridge, right? Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to drink it, and like I never like sparkling water because it's honestly, LaCroix are too bubbly. I feel like they're like overwhelmingly bubbly. This is actually very mild, and I like this one. I actually like this one a lot. I don't drink Liquid Death a lot though.
It has a lot of flavor, right?
It's actually it's damn near like a soda.
Yeah.
But like way less like in your face about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good though. It's a good choice. Got this
shit together. LaCroix, I feel like is like the starter pack for sparkling water. That's like baby's first sparkling water is like a LaCroix. And then, you know, as
LaCroix low-key punched me in the nuts when I first drank it.
What did he say?
I was like, this shit is so intense.
It's like drinking TV static, bro. You're like...
It is.
Yeah, I feel that.
I was buzzing off that shit.
That's why you will not find a single LaCroix in this fridge, bro.
No, fuck LaCroix.
We upgraded. We on to bigger and better things, bro.
Facts. I got one more to drink and then never again.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to you. So
thank you.
Liquid Death.
I appreciate it.
The AHA. You know I'm trying to get sponsored by these motherfuckers.
AHA?
Yeah. AHA. Sparkling water.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Just wait till you run low on that Liquid Death, boy. I'm going to put you on the AHA. I'm going to change your life with these damn AHAs, bro.
Hey, I'm down for it. I mean, I don't get like the people only drinking sparkling water thing. Like if you go to like a fucking restaurant and you order a San Pellegrino or a Pellegrino, you're fucking way too extra.
Like, can I get a Pellegrino?
You're way too
please?
extra. Like that. No, I can't do it.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. My addiction hasn't gotten that bad. I only drink them on the podcast.
Okay, that's fair. Because it's better than soda.
What do you be drinking? Just on the regular? Like if you're sitting down to produce or you're just hanging out at home, fuck you got going on?
I'm going to plug this because eventually when in the archives, when we're sponsored by them, I want them to look back on this and realize I was a day one.
You've been riding for them the whole time.
I've been riding for them the whole time. Me and David, my partner David, who I'm in this Slang Dogs with, we both ride for Golden State Cider, And I don't know if you've ever had it or if I've gave it to you before.
I've seen you drinking them.
I drink them.
So I know this
piss out
isn't a
of
lie,
those.
bro. Because every time you're like out drinking with me or anything, that's
Always
what you
that.
get. Or
Yeah.
you have like a 6 or something.
So that's like my drink of choice because like I'm not a beer guy at all. Like I could fuck with a good Modelo or Corona with some lime in it. Obviously, that's like I feel like that is pretty easy
It's a
to
cult
do.
classic,
It's
yeah.
easy to do. IPAs, no. Golden State cider. This is an alcoholic drink, so like I'm not obviously drinking this all the time, but that's what I go to because I finally found something alcoholic that I like. And we're
Really?
gonna get sponsored by them eventually. I promise. Like when we get on the tour bus, that's slapped on the side of the fucking tour bus, and we're getting Golden State.
Golden State cider.
I promise you.
Hook my boy up right here.
I promise you. 2020, like 5 or 6.
No, fuck it this year, bro.
This year.
Hey,
I hope so. Fuck.
Hey, the sooner the better.
The projection. I like that projection,
Hey,
but
this
realistically,
dude's doing big things. Put him on. Come on, Golden State.
we'll see. Golden State. Just hear me out. In a couple of years, we'll be working together.
Damn.
So yeah, but honestly, I don't really drink a lot of other things other than just like water. Big water guy, you know.
Yeah, that's wholesome.
Been riding with water for a while.
Yeah. How the Lord intended, bro.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff.
some out the earth.
He's like, I dig it up myself.
I got a spring on my fucking property. I do have a well on my property, actually.
You really?
Yeah, well, my parents' property.
You have
Yeah.
a bunch of like chickens and shit.
Yeah,
too,
we
huh?
do. We do.
Are you like a little farm boy?
I wouldn't consider myself like a farm boy
You a
per
farm
se.
critter?
I grew up with the critters for sure, but I wouldn't say it's like a farm, but more like we have land and like the chickens give us eggs and shit. And we're like, okay, that makes sense.
So
You
do
know?
you have like you guys eat the eggs from the chickens?
Yes.
And it's like,
Yes.
you do any vegetables, any gardening and stuff, or
My mom does.
okay,
Yeah.
that's a very mom activity.
She's a big green thumb, like grows a lot of like spurgus and
Spurgus.
spurgus and
We got a
like,
lot of spurgus.
peaches, apricots, tomatoes. Like fresh grown tomatoes are insane.
Really?
Yes, fresh grown tomatoes. Like eventually, I want to do that when I get like my own house, like where I can actually like, grow a garden. Always wanted to do like a garden yard instead of like just some grass or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a big thing I've been wanting to do, just because like I don't feel like grass is like that good looking.
No, grass is kind of boring, and then turf is worse.
Oh yeah, if you have turf, fuck off.
Yeah.
100%. Turf is ugly.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy though. Well, got a couple questions I want to ask
Yeah.
you. Very interview style.
Please. No. Let's get into like the meat of it.
So I'm just like,
because I'm sure we're gonna get into some like fuckery in the middle of it anyway.
hey, if it's me and you, there's gonna be fuckery.
There will be
involved,
fuckery,
bro.
100%.
So obviously, you kind of mentioned David already.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave him out because
Of course
he
not.
is a big part of your project. And it's in the name, Slang Dogs, plural.
Yeah.
There's 2 of you. It's
Yeah.
a collaborative effort. So I kind of want to touch on how that all started with you
Okay.
and David. I'm
Yeah.
sure this is some shit you've answered before in a previous
Well,
podcast or something.
Well, we only done one podcast before. Like I said, it was the Zoom one, and I feel like Zoom interviews or podcasts / interviews or whatever are kind of weird because only one person can really talk at one given time, versus like because it's going over one speaker, so it's kind of like
I feel that. I'm sad. I wish we could have had David here and you guys could have been like
I know.
lapping it on the couch
I know,
and sharing the same mic.
We should have did it when we did the show down here, but obviously that didn't happen. It was just I don't even know why we didn't do it. We should have done it, but David has a burning hatred for LA for some reason.
Does he really?
Yes, David.
David, why?
David does not like LA. I don't know. He just hates it.
It's a little stinky sometimes.
It is. It's a dirty place.
Yeah.
But my thing is like there's dirty people everywhere, so it's like LA just a different kind of dirty.
Yeah. Pick your battles.
He
bro.
hates LA. But okay, let me get into like how I guess how our projects are, how we met. So we went to the same high school together. So I'm a couple years older than him, but he's only a grade below me. So I met him in shop class at our high school. So in shop class, like everybody fucked with each other. Like that was just kind of the thing to do. Like it's all a bunch of guys like working on metal and shit. And
That's
like,
hot. Sounds
yeah,
hot.
yeah. It's just a bunch of hot, steamy men in a metal shop. Well, boys, I guess we were 16. I was 16. He was like 15.
Very
okay?
euphoria, a bunch of high school.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
everyone just like moist with their shirts off. No, it's not. It wasn't at all. We were just children. but like everybody would like fuck with each other, right? So like obviously with like new kids coming in, like everybody was like picking on each other. Like, I was picking on David a little bit for sure.
So you were a bully.
I wasn't a bully because I had people bullying me too. Like it was a fucking cycle of life, right? Like
yeah.
everybody fucked with each other. So
No, you got to know your spot on the food chain. Pretty much.
yeah. Like exactly. So anyway, we kind of grew like a disdain for each other like over the course of like the next couple months, and like we played video games together, and we just had like arguments over the video games, and it was just like a whole thing of like we just started to like not really like each other, and like almost fought a couple times. Yeah. So we had this thing called Challenge Day, and I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's like this program on MTV back in the day, like called If You Really Knew Me. Have you ever heard of that?
Isn't that the one where you get like soft and sappy and
Yes.
like emotional with
Yes.
like your peers or whatever? Yeah, I vaguely remember it.
Yeah, so we had them come to our school. Usually they film it and put it on like on TV, right? But for whatever reason, we're a little shit dick school. We only like 500 kids, so like they were like not filming it, or for whatever reason. But me and David were in the same group, and so like what you're supposed to do for like the people that don't really know is like you tell people, if you really knew me, like this is what you would know. And it's like a lot of like heavy shit typically, like people crying and like a lot of trauma, stuff like that. So we pretty much just like unloaded in our group, and like afterwards like we kind of like bonded over that. And like I remember like walking back to school because it was kind of like off campus in this little like senior center thing where they held it at. And
senior center.
Yeah, they held it at the senior center.
They were like, "Damn, kid, you really been through a lot."
Like, yo, fucked up.
Oh, you've had a rough childhood.
Dude, the
I've
seniors,
had a rough 89 years.
The seniors weren't there, but if the seniors were there, they'd probably be talking about like war stories and shit. And I'm just like, my dad didn't like me. Like, shut the fuck up.
My mom was rude to me this morning.
Yeah.
He's like, I saw my friend's legs get blown off his arm.
Yeah. Yes, but okay, the seniors were not there, but I remember walking back from the senior center, and we were just like, man, like I guess like this shit is like deeper than just like feuding shit. Like we kind of bonded over it, right?
Yeah.
So over the course of the next like couple of years, we just became closer. We had like a couple people that me and him mutually hung out with, who it was like me, him, and this girl Alea, who was like our really good friend in high school. And we just like became more friends more and more over the years, like going to parties, like mainly bonding over like dance music as well. Like this was like 2012, 2013, 14. So this was like a lot of people's introduction to dance music. He was really into Skrillex. I reluctantly was like really into like actually not reluctantly, that was later. I was in a big room at one point, but before that I was into like really early trap music. So like RL Grime, Knife Party, if you would consider some of that trap, Adventure Club, like OG dubstep, shit like that. Right? I guess like 2012 dubstep. So we bonded over stuff like that. And we would just be listening to music in my car, and I had like 2 subs, and we would just be sitting in my car just blasting dance music. So that's kind of like how we met and how we like bonded and became friends. And like we've been best friends ever since, right? So and then getting out of high school, I graduated a year before him. We kind of like lost contact for a year, and then I was like going to raves and festivals and stuff like that, and he always wanted to go, but he was actually he was going,
couldn't get in. Oh, sneaking in. Huh?
No, hold on. David used to be wilding out and going to these like underground, like warehouse, like crazy Oakland raves before I was going to festivals, and I was like, damn, bro.
Shit.
Yeah, bro.
Like
I was like, damn, you're like doing the real like. Like that, there's that meme of like the bald guy, and he's like tweaking out, and his eyes are like hella big, and he's just like chomping hella hard. And he's just
David?
like, that was David.
I'm gonna just Photoshop David's head on
You
that
should,
fucking
you
meme.
should. You know which meme I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So he was going to shit like that, and then I was going to like festivals when I turned 18, and then for his like 18th birthday, we took him to a festival. It was literally like the next day, like after he turned 18. So we went with a couple of one of my friends, David's girlfriend, and who he's still with, and then our really good friend Zach, who you've met. So Zach. That was like the start of our like friendship with Zach as well. Like not the start of it, but like when we started becoming like really, really good boys was going to festivals and shit. So like fast forward, like we started going to festivals more and more, and we just were like, there's nothing really stopping us from like making this music. Like it seems like it's fairly easy. Like whatever.
You're just standing there like, I could do this.
I was like, I have no musical knowledge at all. Like I have no like concept of how to create music, but I was like, I could do that.
Doesn't even know what music theory is.
Not at all.
Or anything. And you're like, this shit looks easy, bro.
No, exactly. I was like, this guy could do it. But like realistically, that is the case. Like anybody could do it. It just takes time. So over the course of the next couple months, we just started like going to more and more festivals and being like, yo, like we should just start trying to do this. So I started like making music. He started making music, and I hit it. To be honest, I hit it significantly harder than he did at the time. And over the course of the next couple of years, like I was progressing more and more, and eventually, like David started taking notice that I was like getting better at making music, and he was like, "Dude, like I should have been like working on music harder or whatever." And I was like, "Dude, like we could just do this shit as a duo. You just handle like the live DJing and the set creation aspect of it, because like that was something that I was feeling, I thought was going to be overwhelming for me. So he started doing that and the crate digging, and then transitioned into like doing like the visuals, and obviously all the set creation is still all David for the most part. And then we kind of like started branching out into other aspects of like what we take care of in the project. But so that's kind of how we got started, is like we were just like, yo, we should just do this together because it would make the workload easier, which it did, like significantly. And the financial burden as well. So yeah,
I was that's a question I have coming up, is just kind of like, as a music producer, just any sort of musical artist nowadays, like it's not enough to just be an artist. You have to be like an influencer, a marketing director, a fucking manager, agent. Like you have to do all this stuff. So it's kind of cool hearing that you have David to help you out with a lot of that workload.
He's really good at it too, because he's super sociable. So like I'm sociable significantly more in person, but he's definitely better at like building relationships online as well. I mean, he's sociable in person too. Like he's very easy to get along with, but he definitely helps a ton in that aspect, and he's brought tons of opportunities to the project in that way by just being like a easily likable person. Right. So
very charismatic dude.
Yeah. So but he's also great at like he did a lot of parkour in high school, and like a little bit out of it too. That was his thing for a really long time. And he got really good at editing video. So that translated over into making visuals for the project. So all the visuals on all of our shows is all him. And he's cracked at it. Like,
he's fucking cracked.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
I remember you guys just played Exchange,
yeah.
And that's a big LED like wall screen.
We didn't think we were going to get that.
And bro, they had all your visuals getting rinsed out with your music and everything. And at one point, I remember just looking at the visuals and being like, this is fucking insane, bro.
He's
like,
making more right now too, which I'm fucking stoked about.
His stuff is really good. It fits cohesively with your guys' creative baby that you guys have pretty much raised and done and everything.
Yeah.
I guess another question I have on being a duo, from disdain to duo, bro, is like, have you guys had any creative differences? And if so, like, how do you guys work through that? Or just kind of like, because when you have more minds on a project, so you have your Slang Dogs project, but it's two people with input, you're not always going to agree on the same thing. And if you do, like, how do you guys just keep working at it and like being on each other's good sides, not getting annoyed? This is one thing I wanted to add. I remember at your San Diego show, bro, bunch of technical mishaps are happening. And I'll post a photo here too. Yeah. There's a photo, fucking iconic photo.
It really is.
I want to like frame it and put it in like a
I love that picture.
A Slang Dogs altar or something.
That was like raw emotion.
It was raw emotion, bro. But that's like, you sense that when you're around the two of you, like on stage and off stage. So it's like you can tell that the chemistry is there. But how do you guys keep that chemistry alive, you know?
So I guess I'll start with like the creative differences part, because like there'll be times where I make a song that David's really not feeling. I'm like, I fuck with this. Like, I don't really know how you don't fuck with it, but I really like it. And same with him. Like he's been, over the past like year, he's been getting more and more deep into production and working a lot harder on it, which is like awesome to see. And there's things that like I don't like that he makes sometimes, but and like vice versa. So you have to find a balance where there's times where, you know, I'll make a song and then he'll come over and he's like, I'm not really feeling that.
Like, so then this trash, bro?
Yeah, or like a specific part of a song. He'd be like, or it needs to be this, needs to be that. So it's definitely a learning process on how to kind of pull back on what you want versus what the other person wants, and kind of come to a middle ground, which is like, it's a blessing and it's a blessing and a curse with being a duo, because like there is going to be creative differences. Like there's going to, as we start getting like more and more deep into our project, and as you know, as of right now, I still handle like a majority of the music production, and he's getting significantly better. And he's sent me ideas lately that I haven't even had to hardly touch. and they're fucking sick. But as time goes on, like he's gonna get to a point where he's gonna really like something in a song that I want to change. And it's like you have to be able to have that common middle ground, or being a duo just is not going to work. But it's also nice because like you have feedback on everything that you're doing, you know, and you still have to have a little bit of like selflessness being a duo. And like, as I start making sets more, same thing. Like there's going to be times where I really like, there's a transition I love in some of our sets that we've been doing lately, and he's just like, I just don't fuck with it. And I'm like, why? Like, I don't get it.
Gas, bro.
Yes.
What do you mean?
But like that's the thing, is that like and he's gonna have to like start to, you know, do the same thing with, as I kind of pull back on his music ideas when I start creating sets, which is gonna start happening this year. He's gonna have to pull back on some things that he might not like on sets that I make. So it's a push and pull.
It's like a little balancing act.
It is. But I think it's cool because it's like a blend of like both of our tastes. And he has great taste in music. I feel like I have good taste in music. I feel
like that comes through in the project as well. Like a lot of people, it's very cliche, are like, oh, you got to find your sound as a music producer and stuff. But like, I can with confidence say like, I know a Slang Dogs track when I listen to it. Like I can listen to you guys' music and be like, that's fucking Slang Dogs. You guys have absolutely found your sound, in my opinion. And so I guess when you have a sound already, you have something to like build off. You kind of have like a skeletal outline. So it's like creative differences can happen, but you kind of have like a solid foundation already. You know?
Right. And that's definitely been relevant in how David has made music too, is because like obviously over the course of like us making music, we've made a lot of songs together. So we kind of have both decided like what our sound is going to be and like how it's going to evolve, and like what samples we use, what kind of like reverbs we use that makes a Slang Dog song sound like a Slang Dog song.
What's that little, you guys have a sound that's in like
like that thing.
You already knew. I didn't even finish the sentence.
Yeah, that's like our producer tag. David actually was the first one that used that in a song, and I remember we were working on it and I like heard it and I was like, yo, that is like a nasty horn sound. And we just started using it more and more in the production, like whether it just be like one little flick here or there. It's just kind of, it's like a producer tag without it really being one. And people do that all the time.
Without being like, Slang Dogs on the beat.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, that's a producer tag for us pretty much. But again, like if you have one sound that you can utilize in more than one way, or I guess utilize in multiple tracks, it's an easy way for somebody to make your song identifiable.
What kind of samples you work with? If I feel like when you have a pretty solid sound, you kind of use a lot of the same samples, basses, presets, whatever you have going on. Is your sample library like same kick, same snare, same everything?
So I actually started writing a sample pack for ourselves lately. Just like going back through old projects and using more samples again, like twice, like especially kicks, because I use kicks. I like layer kicks together, and sometimes they'll have like a really like defined characteristic about them. So I've been doing that, but overall, like when I'm looking for samples, like I'm looking for something very specific. Like I don't use a lot of high end sounding like bass samples, where sometimes it'll be like really screechy or like piercing or anything like that. I like really low guttural stuff, and like a part of like the way you craft your sound is by being selective about the samples that you use. So our ambient samples, like in our drops, we use a lot of like big reverb ambient shots or like horns or flutes. Like those are things that I'm consciously like, if this song doesn't sound Slang Dogs enough, I'm going to search for something in that realm to put it in the drop to make it, to force it into that realm. So it's a selective process that you have to be conscious about when you're writing music, because if you're just using samples that are all over the place that don't really follow kind of like a specific sound, then you're going to find that crafting a sound is going to be significantly harder and you're not going to know why.
I feel that. You guys definitely do have some projects that like, especially like your EPs and stuff, they're very like cinematic almost. And they kind of like,
that's the intent.
Yeah, exactly. They're cinematic. I feel like I'm listening to a fucking Hans Zimmer track, bro, for like something.
That's a compliment.
And
thanks.
then out of nowhere, just fucking the nastiest shit I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. So it definitely does come through your sample selection, sound selection very cohesively.
Thank you.
Okay, Daddy Dario.
Okay.
I've got a very spicy one for you here.
Okay.
So a couple of the themes on my podcast have been discipline, how discipline outworks motivation, and kind of just like basically when motivation fleets, if you're very disciplined, you're still going to get the work done. You're still going to have to do whatever you have to do.
Right.
Whether you wake up and you're feeling shit and you're like, I don't want to do anything, you know, I want to be in bed all day. And when it comes to stuff like that, I think you, at least to me, in terms of music production, are like the poster child of discipline, because since like 2019, you've been dropping tracks consistently, pretty much monthly. And that's a handful of years, like since I met you. And I mean, it's paid off. Your guys' career is heading in a direction that I imagine both of you are very happy and proud with. But it's like, how have you managed to stay so consistent with your releases, with your schedule, and on top of things?
Yeah. So like to be real, I wish I was more disciplined, because I'll just kind of preface with this. Like, I was significantly more disciplined when I was working a 40-hour work week job, and then coming home and working on music for like 5 hours a day, because that's what I could manage. And but I was still learning production at that point. So I got really into it, and I was like, okay, like this. The reason why I was like so disciplined in the very beginning was because I was like, okay, I'm going to go to ICØN Collective, which is where me and you met. It's a music production college. I'm sure you've talked about it on the podcast.
Once or twice.
Yeah. So like saving up money for that, like I was like saving up all my money for working this job. I was installing alarms in 2018, and coming back home and learning production. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to fucking do this shit. Cause when I told myself I was going to do it, I bought a laptop, the one I'm still using now. And I was like, okay, like I'm going to be dedicated to this.
Yeah.
So as time went on, I was just like fucking grinding and like learning how to like doing the nitty gritty shit, like learning how to mix and master, learning how to sound design. And it was like 2018 was like really fucking like balls to the wall year for me. And now I feel like I can get so much more done in a less amount of time that I feel like I definitely work on music less. But I'm still working on music like 5 days a week typically. And if I have a week where I don't get something significant done, then it kind of makes me feel bad about myself, which is it's almost like that. It's like when I'm like working on music, like I have to get something done and make progress, or like I feel like shit. So I feel like it's also that kind of motivation. But realistically, as in terms of how to stay consistent, I think you just have to do a little bit a day, and you can work your way up. You know, like I said, I was doing 5 hours before. Now I'm probably doing like 3 realistically. But those 3 hours, it's like shit is happening in those 3 hours.
It's like fully focused work.
Exactly.
You're in there,
Exactly. And you could, and that's the thing is like I even heard like huge producers like Sudden Death are also doing like just 3 hours a day, because he's so good at making music now that he's able to be very efficient with how much he's doing. So for people that are like learning how to write music, like, yeah, spend as much time as you can on it. And then later down the road, when you are, you know, a little bit more versed in your abilities, then you can kind of like dial it back a little bit, or you can just keep going balls to the wall. But for me personally, I feel accomplished when I get something done, and then I can pretty much be like done for the day.
Yeah.
And it usually takes like 3 to 4 hours.
Well, I mean, like 3 hours of solid focus work is better than a whole day of dicking around trying to find one snare sample or something dumb. You know?
Yeah. And I don't spend a lot of time looking for samples at all. Like the majority of my time is met like making music and being really like defining things. Like,
more on the like creative aspect.
Yeah.
Creative elements.
Fine tuning is what a lot of it is too. And even like my mixing and mastering process has gotten significantly shorter. Like I used to spend weeks, bro, mixing and mastering a song. Now it's like I mix as I go, and I can fucking finish a master in like 3 hours, 4 hours.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the thing is, like with staying consistent though, is like you just have to get yourself in that mindset and just start with an hour a day. Like just make sure you're not like skipping out on time, and even if it's just a little bit, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, that's definitely like a skill set that you develop over time, as anything is, you know?
Right.
But I know you say you were a little more consistent in the past, but I mean, 5 days a week is still more than what a lot of people are doing.
Right, but you also compare it to like some people are doing more than you. Right?
Yeah.
So
I guess.
Yeah.
But comparison is the thief of joy.
It is. Know? Yeah. I should be happy with how much I'm doing.
You should.
Because I think I feel personally, I think I put in the work the last 6 years to be like, okay, like I can get this amount of shit done and be okay with it in a shorter amount of time. I don't have to like absolutely like murder myself doing like 8-hour music production days, because I feel like I just wouldn't be able to be as productive in the other 4 hours.
And at a certain point, it leads you very well segue into this next question. It can lead you to burnout in a sense.
Yeah.
And that's
still burnout.
That's something I want to ask you is like, when you're feeling burnt out, what is something you do to kind of get yourself back in the right mindset to sit down and produce? What's kind of like the longest length of burnout that you felt, and like what are just some remedies for you personally?
Okay. So, yeah, burnout is a thing. And it's something I've dealt with too, is like, I'm still working like all the time at like a day job, whether it be, 7 months ago, 8 months ago when I was working with my dad, that was like mentally taxing on me because, he was pretty tough on me, and the way he speaks to me in general is like very abrasive, right? Mm-hmm. So when I would
have like a strict dad,
he's just like, he just doesn't have a filter really. Like I
don't think any dad does.
Yeah, no, he's just like he's very. The best word I can describe it is just abrasive, like verbally abrasive.
Okay.
Which is like, the way that people talk to you affects you, right? Mm. So doing that and working, with him 5 days a week, and then going and working on production, like you get like things taken out of you before you get ready to work on production, right? So it's like that is for burnout, for especially like, even though I'm not working on music like 10 hours a day like I used to, back then it was hard. And then like now I'm learning a new job as well, doing a new job, and it's mentally taxing as well. So right now I took a break off of music for like a month, 2 months since November. And usually when I do that, take a break off of music so I don't burn out, I come back and write like some fucking sick shit every time,
hits, bro.
Every time.
Some Grammy-worthy fucking
not
tracks.
Grammy-worthy, but
give yourself some credit.
But okay,
you're gonna win a Grammy, and we're gonna get you sponsored by the cider company.
I gotta start making like Tech House or like Moonbaton or whatever.
We'll get to that. Hold on, we'll get to that.
So, but yeah, no, it's extremely important to take breaks. I think like you could work through it, but like in the long term, I think taking breaks and focusing on things outside of music is so important. And it's something I have to get better at too. Like my whole life revolves around like making music, it seems like, and everything else around it is just kind of like supplemental to it. Mm-hmm. So whether I'm like working a job, I'm like, I'm going to work this job so I can do this so I can make music,
Yeah.
So it's definitely tough. Like, I mean, being consistent and, being able to like be like, oh yeah, like I work on music X amount of hours a week, but I'm also like mentally okay. Yeah. It's like a balancing act.
On the topic of mentally okay, obviously being a music producer can be stressful, especially like you said, when you're juggling a lot of things. You're juggling just a 9-to-5 job that you may have, which a lot of music producers do have. It's right. Like as much as we want this to be a full-time thing, we still have to make ends meet, mm-hmm. which is kind of like, it's a struggle being an artist. So a lot of this stuff can get very taxing on your mental health. What are some things you do to like outside of music to take care of your mental health, or to just like tune in, tap in with yourself and make sure you're okay?
Yeah. So, I like going on hikes a lot. So like nature to me is something I've always grown up around, and I'm like a pretty outdoorsy person. And sometimes I kind of get complacent with not being able to be outdoors as much as I like to, but like taking my dog for a walk, for example, something I did the other day. I'm actually on New Year's Day, and just like took this little fucker out for a walk and like I felt like so much better about it. Or going to the gym. Like I know you're a big gym guy. Like it helps you with your, I'm not going to show mine because I'm fucking little tiny boy, but yeah. So like going to the gym, I'm big into video games. I've been playing video games since I've been 5 years old. I started on Nintendo 64, and fucking I still play video games all the time. And
64, bro.
The 64.
Oh, what a gem of a console, bro.
Oh, Pokemon Stadium.
I miss that, bro. What the fuck did I have?
Crash Bandicoot?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. 007?
No.
You never had 007?
No,
bro, that's a cult classic.
I feel like I played that on like PlayStation or something.
Yeah,
like,
Banjo-Kazooie?
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie.
Okay, that one is.
I used to have, what's funny is like, I don't know if you ever were like blessed enough to have like the memory cards, but I never had a memory card. So I remember I would just play Crash Bandicoot up until this one level, and I always got tired of this one level, and then I would never be able to beat it. And
then you just have to restart
again.
Just a vicious cycle of Crash Bandicoot.
I was just like 5 years old, like, I don't know how to save the game.
Beat this one.
How to save game?
I don't know.
So yeah, but anyway, like video games is a big thing for me, and it's always been like a way for me to like kind of relax and like disassociate. But I'm like a competitive gamer, so I'm like I like battle royales mainly.
You're pretty fucking cracked at Apex.
Apex, yeah.
I saw you play one time, and I was like, I don't want to get in a tussle with this guy.
Yeah.
I'd hate to be in a 1v1
This guy's
with
bad
this
news.
guy. Yeah.
This guy's trouble. But yeah, so that's one of the ways like I kind of like definitely like to kind of disconnect, but tried to get into mountain biking. That didn't really work because I fucking sucked at it. But yeah, just outdoorsy shit, man. Like take time away from music. It's not everything. And like, I think it can give you like a more of an appreciation for music when you're not having your whole life revolve around it and like be thinking about it 24/7. And that's kind of what I was doing for a while. And it's a vicious cycle. I feel like you just kind of get like sucked up in your ways and you're just like, fuck, what am I doing outside of this?
Yeah.
Even though it is important to like,
I've been there, dude, where it's like, I feel like as an artist, it's so easy to get wrapped up in your work or your art, whatever it may be. And then at a certain point, it's like you attach your self-value to your art or your work or whatever you're putting out.
Yeah.
So it can get, again, very taxing on your mental health when you're like, oh, I ain't shit because my music's not good enough or it's not up to par.
I didn't write
or
something this
is.
week. Or
yeah, exactly. Kind of how you said you beat yourself up if you
Every
go
time.
a week and like you haven't made anything fire.
Yeah.
We've been rock climbing lately.
We have.
That's something you can do to increase your mental health. You're kind of cracked at that too. You're a little spider monkey, bro.
I don't think I'm that cracked. I feel like, nah. Well, I mean, I've been like one or two more times more than you have.
Bro, at bouldering, you were doing some like Spider-Man PlayStation shit. You were like, and like jumping across the fucking boulder. I was like, you were hanging upside down vertically and
bro,
shit. I was like, hey, yo.
Those granola boys that were next to us, you know what guys I'm talking about.
Those
with
guys
the,
were cracked.
Yeah,
They were on X Games.
That guy, yeah, they were disgusting at it. I was like, these guys are literally leaping from rock to rock and like swinging and shit. But rock climbing is fun though. I'm definitely gonna get a rock climbing membership when I go back up home for sure.
Yeah,
facts.
Fuck, I want to get into it too. It's a little pricey though.
It is. But it's fun though. It's like a different way to work out. But I mean, you fucking go work out afterwards. I'm done. My forearms are toasted still.
Bro, I did that rock climbing sesh with you and Tate, and then I came home, I ate, and went straight to the gym. I had to fucking snort like 300 milligrams of pre-workout just to make it, but
Jesus Christ.
I powered through, bro.
You actually snort for your workout?
No.
Oh.
I inject it, bro.
Oh, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Straight to the fucking blood flow,
That's
bro.
insane. That is menace behavior in 2023.
I'm on menace mode.
Menace mode. You're Mike Menace.
Mike Menace?
Wait, you're Mijo Menace.
Mijo the Menace. Oh, that's fire, bro.
Mijo the Menace.
If Floral Frequency ever fails, bro, that's the side project.
You have to name it.
Mijo the Menace.
You have to name this podcast Mijo the Menace. I feel like we found the word.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay, I want to tell a quick little story just because I feel like this is a lot of the realities that a lot of people don't see when people think of like a music producer, someone that's playing big shows like you have. They think like, oh, hella money, hella girls, all this stuff, like they're living the dream. But I remember you played a show in, it was Wobbleland. You played a music festival, bro.
Yeah.
Where is that?
That was in Dallas.
Dallas, yeah. And then you had hit me up. You're like, hey, bro, could you like pick me up from the airport when I touch back in LA? I was like, of course. So I went and I got you. And even me, as a music producer, I was like, bro, he just played a festival. Like, he probably made a couple racks. Like, he probably feels like the man, all this stuff. And then you get in my car, we're driving home. You're telling me the stories of like the crowd. Maybe it wasn't the crowd you were thinking it was going to be. And then you were telling me stories of like how much you made, as opposed to like, you pretty much told me that you lost money getting there and booking hotels and doing all this stuff. And I think that's a lot of people, or that's a thing that a lot of people kind of just overlook. They don't understand the realities of being an artist. They just assume that, oh, you're playing a festival,
you're making money,
you must be on top of the world, you know?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we probably could have been financially more. I think we could have been smarter financially on that trip, particularly because initially we were going to stay with a friend and we wouldn't have had to pay for the hotel, which would have helped. But we stayed there for the whole weekend, which we didn't need to do. We could have just stayed there for the night and we would have been cutting about half of our cost out. That's the reason why we did not really. That's why we lost money, particularly because we stayed from Thursday till Sunday or Monday, something like that. But
it's also like you
would expect that would be like.
Well, in your mind, you're kind of like, this kind of like a vacation if you think about it.
That's
like,
how we treated it.
I want to enjoy Dallas.
Yeah.
And do my stuff, you know.
That's how we treated it in a way. We were like, this is not like a money making move, but that's the thing. I mean, going back to the duo thing, like that's one of the tribulations of being in a duo is that you have to buy plane tickets for two people. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
now
flights were really expensive at that time.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I imagine you guys like split costs on stuff like
exactly.
that too. So if you get paid one X amount, you guys
split it.
Yeah, 50%.
It usually goes back into the project. We don't really pay ourselves from the project quite yet, but flights were really expensive at that time, so we got fucked on flights. So obviously, like that was kind of, you know, but yeah, for people that are like kind of like on the undercard of playing music festivals or even like support acts on tours, especially for duos, you are breaking even most of the time. And if not, like there will be some one-off shows where you will make some decent money if you're able to like get a decent flight. You know, like some flights we've gotten for cheaper, and we're like, okay, cool, like this is fine. But yeah, for the most part, like I think a lot of people don't really realize that like the very beginning stages of touring and just like getting booked at festivals, unless you have like a explosive like career, you are for the most part going to be either breaking even or losing money.
And you are like financially supporting yourself. Nobody's buying your flights or like they're not booking you in a hotel or anything.
Some promoters will. So promoters usually book hotels for you, or if you're on a tour stop, they'll book a hotel for you. But yeah, for the most part, like festivals don't really cover
travel accommodation.
At least, yeah. Some places will, but then they take it out of your fee. But for the most part, in our experience, we've been essentially getting a fee that's landed, which means that, you know, they'll pick you up from the airport, they'll get you a hotel, they'll take you back to the airport. Everything else on top of that is on you. So flights eat up a lot, you know, especially as a duo.
Flights are expensive, man.
Yeah. So yeah, the money is like when you're trying to break into it, the money is really not there, which makes it even harder because you're still working a fucking 9 to 5 or a day job or hustling or whatever
to support this dream.
Exactly.
But I mean, I think everybody can admire the hustle of that. That's fire.
Yeah.
And like I said, you were at Wobbleland. You have played big festivals. You played big shows. This is a fun question. The EDM scene is full of cracktivities, is what I like to call it. There's a bunch of Molly mongrels and just crazy shit that you see at a festival where you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
It kind of adds to like the magic of the whole community. But I want to know, what's the craziest thing you've seen as an artist at one of your shows? And what's the craziest thing you've seen just at an EDM show?
Oh, at an EDM show. Let me start with the at an EDM show because I think I need to think about the one at our shows because we haven't had too many like crazy experiences at shows yet.
It could even be like backstage in the green room, something you saw, I don't know, fucking Borgore do a butt chug or some shit.
Haven't seen Borgore do a butt chug, but let me start off with like the at an EDM show. So like when me and you and David and Zach and Dan were at Nocturnal in 2019, the camping festival, I was shocked at the campgrounds at 6 a.m. on a Sunday. I was blown away by how many zombies there were walking around that campground.
That shit did look like DayZ, The Walking Dead, bro.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was insane to me. I was like, like people just asleep in the bushes and shit. I'm like, yo, this is like literally fucking crazy.
Bro, I remember we were at our campgrounds right after I think DJ Snake just closed out. We went back to the campground and we're all just sitting there chilling. And there was like this bush next to our tent.
Yeah.
And this fucking Wook comes out of the bush out of nowhere, bro. He comes out and he's like, have you seen my mom?
Yes,
and we were like,
that.
What the fuck? Like, who are you?
I'm glad you said that because that was the, you know, and then the girls with the chips, these girls like came into our campground and they were just like, I don't know what the fuck they were saying, but they were like just being like mad weird.
They were speaking gibberish.
They were speaking gibberish. And then David was just like, yo, take this bag of chips and get the fuck out of here. So we had this Costco-sized bag of chips that we just gave to these little like Wookieanas, and we are just like, all right, leave. And then they're like, fuck you. And then they just left. Yeah, they were
walking out.
The most baggy or the most crummy bag of chips.
And it was funny too, bro, because it's like these people almost appeared. Like that guy that came through the bushes, he didn't come around, he didn't like walk into the campground, literally through the bush.
NPC activity. Like just spawned.
100%. Like that fucking meme of Homer Simpson where he's like backing into the bush.
Yeah.
It was just reverse. He's coming out. I was like, yo.
He was literally a Skyrim NPC that was like trying to give us a quest, but we just denied it. We were like, get the fuck out of here.
Like, I'm looking looking for my mother. And you were like, not me, not today, bro.
Yeah, no, he's gonna give you a curse or some shit. But as for like shit that's happened at shows, honestly, it's been pretty mild so far. Like this year was the most shows that we've played. But honestly, I mean, you touched on it earlier. I think the craziest thing to me that's actually, I guess it's not that crazy, but like you mentioned it earlier, when the power kept on going out at that underground tunnel rave, that was pretty stressful. But I wouldn't say that's the craziest. I've had a couple like girls come up to me and kind of like do like some extra shit, but like other than that, like not really anything like too crazy, because I can kind of just like handle that.
The shotty's throwing it back.
Low key,
the shotty's throwing it back on my boy Dario.
Yeah, I mean, recently, like when we were in San Francisco, we were me and David played a show, and this like girl came up to me and David afterwards, just talking our ear off. I think she was definitely like rolling or on drugs or something, and she like, we were trying to leave, and she was like super excited. So we're like, okay, it's fine, whatever. And so we like took a picture with her, which is fine, like whatever. And then like right before she was about to leave, she like jumped up on me and like wrapped her legs around me, like fully like koala'd me. Yeah. And like my ex was like standing right there, and I was like, this is so uncomfortable. Like, fuck, like this is like the worst kind of like timing that this could have been. But other than that, like, yeah, I don't really see too much crazy shit at shows that we've played. Like some people like passing out on drugs and things like that, but yeah, that's kind of to be expected. That's, you know,
you're at a rave.
Yeah, people are on drugs. Like it's fine. Damn. So unfortunately, yeah, I wish I had a better story, but the zombies at Nocturnal were crazy.
The zombies are crazy. I talked about your San Diego show one time in a podcast.
Yeah, I love that podcast. That show was funny.
Thanks, dude.
Like sacrificing goats.
Talking about how everybody's at your show sacrificing goats, virgins, puppies, whatever they got, bro.
That was funny.
Yeah. And I was hoping you were going to say something like that. Like, actually, on the topic of sacrifice, we have seen a couple. Like,
dude, not yet. I'll let you know when it happens, though.
Nah, just a bunch of girls throwing it down.
Just busting it down. In front of your ex. Yeah, that's what
rough.
Can you do?
What can you do, bro? It's part of being an artist, I guess. Well, when you've made it to the level that you're at, you've unlocked that. I feel like there's levels to this shit.
There is.
Unlocked that recently, it sounds
like. Yeah. I wouldn't say we're at like a crazy position right now, but I mean, I guess it's because you kind of do tend to get jaded. But I mean, I think I just because I'm like unsatisfied with where we're at and like want more kind of thing.
Hungry for it.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I guess like that does come with the territory of the position when you are like playing, you know, more shows. But yeah, I can only imagine it gets worse, and I've heard it gets worse. So
I imagine
you have to be careful out there in the streets.
Stay safe. It ain't safe for nobody in these streets, bro.
No. Celibacy
for life.
Celibacy.
I'm a child of God.
Chastity belt.
I'm a recycled virgin.
Yeah. Recycled virgin? What does that mean?
I tried sex once and I didn't like it, so now I'm a recycled.
Now I just do butt stuff. Because butt stuff is good in the eyes of the Lord.
The Lord approves of butt stuff.
100%. Bro, come on.
Why would he give us butts then?
Exactly. This butt ain't meant for shitting. What do you mean?
All right, my friend. My very special friend to me. So you said that it can get pretty easy to get jaded with your success, or like however far you think you've made it in this industry, but you have made it to a point where I imagine starting off, you looked up to a lot of artists, you admired a lot of people's sounds, seeing them play big shows, festivals, whatever it is. And now you're kind of at a point where you are collaborating with some of these artists, and you've also got official remixes coming out for some fucking big dudes. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that, so I'll just leave it there.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like you've kind of hit that point in your career. What's kind of the feeling behind that? Is it like, oh my God, I fucking made it? Or, I mean, you said you have like a drive of hunger, like I want more and more and more, you know?
Yeah, and this is something I've actually been, I mean, I tend to think about this from time to time because, you know, starting in like 2019, I usually say our project started in 2019 because that's when we started kind of like releasing consistently. And starting in 2019 with 200 SoundCloud followers, right? Like that's where we started at. And like now we're at like 11K or whatever it may be. I used to look at people like that and be like, fuck, those guys are doing it. And then you get to that point and you're like, like, I guess like the numbers don't really mean everything, but still to be like cognizant of kind of where you're at and like what you have done, it's hard to look back and like stop and be like, okay, feel like I've accomplished some like pretty cool things. Like, you know, we're on our first tour this year, and that's something that's really special to both me and David, is that, you know, we did that this year, but like it sucks because like sometimes you tend to forget about it. And you're like, okay, fuck yeah, we're on a tour, and you would have told me that 3 years ago, I would have been stoked for months, right? I'd be like, I can't wait to get to that point. But now I'm like, okay, what's next? Like, okay, yeah, like you said, we have a remix for a big artist coming out. Okay, fuck yeah, I got approved, and like it's gonna be distroed, and like the next day I kind of forget about it. And it's tough to like live in the moment and like not look forward and be happy with where you're at, because with music, like, you know, I look at some other people and I'm like, you know, I see them tweeting about like, oh, like I'm sad, and I'm like, you're fucking touring every weekend, bro. Like, how are you sad? And like some people probably look at this the same way, and I'm like, fuck, like I wish I was in a better position, right? And somebody else could probably look at that and be like, dude, what are you fucking talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's a perspective thing.
Some dudes at the bottom like, I don't even know how to produce, but I want to do it. Like,
exactly. So it's like, it's a perspective thing. And I think it's, no matter where you are in your career, I think it's a hard thing to be happy with where you're at. And I think it's a skill that you achieve over like through affirmations, or like just telling yourself that like you're in a good spot. Like you are doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. And could you be doing better? Yeah. Could you be doing worse? Probably too. Yeah. You know, like, so yeah, I mean, I just hate being complacent, I think is what it is.
Yeah, nobody wants to get too comfortable.
Exactly. And like that's what I think drives it more than anything, is that like I just don't want to be comfortable in any position that we're at. So me and David both are always like looking at the future and what we can do next. But it's important to take a step back and be like, you know, even though I'm not killing it as hard as I might want to, I think I'm doing better than I was last year or yesterday,
which is good.
Yeah. And like to give yourself that kind of like, I don't know, like respect in a way. Cause like it almost is like a lack of like respect for yourself, I feel like, where you're like, yeah, but you could be doing better. It's like, no, like you're doing pretty good no matter where you're at. Like if you're fucking learning production and your kicks sound better than they did a year ago, like good for you, man. That's fucking great. Like no matter what you're doing, you should be happy. And the only person you should be like really comparing yourself to is the person
you were
last year, last week, last month, whatever it may be.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. I think that's why it's good. I'm a big advocate just in my life and on this podcast about showing gratitude journaling, just like kind of stuff like that. And I think that's something in your position that, you know, would benefit. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your life, but it's like,
no, it would.
You definitely like sometimes, like you said, it's hard to stop and smell the roses or whatever it is. But when you do stop and you're like, I'm thankful I played this show. I'm
100%.
thankful I got to open for this artist. I'm thankful I got this remix. It kind of begins to put everything into perspective.
Right.
And then you can enjoy that moment and then keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Keep that momentum going.
I think another thing about it too is that like, you know, your project, or you know where you are in your life in and out. So it's like, you know, everything you have in the pipeline, especially as an artist, like, you know what you have coming up, you know, all the songs in your unreleased music folder, you know what projects are not done, you know, everything that you have. People don't really know, like from the outside looking in, people don't know that, like what like every single detail is.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get complacent and be like, oh, well, yeah, I have all this stuff. But people are excited for the most part to see their favorite artist, like what they have going on next, even if the artist is not excited about it. So it's like, it's a perspective thing. It's like you are your own worst critic, and you have to be like, you know, good to yourself and be like, you know, you are in a good position, and, you know, the things that you are doing are good, you know.
But keep working, bitch.
But also never stop.
You're not where you want to be, you fucking pussy.
Then just let the intrusive thoughts come back in.
The intrusive thoughts win, bro.
The intrusive thoughts be way stronger than my affirmations. I'd be like, the guy with the water bottle, like sitting down like, damn, my intrusive thoughts are busting this week.
Trying to fight demons, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
I feel that. You kind of touched just now on, you know, where your project's heading, you know what's in the chamber, if you so will, and you kind of know what's to come. Can you kind of fill us in a little bit on what the Slang Dogs project looks like going a year in advance, 2 years in advance, what you guys have coming out release-wise, or if you want?
Yeah. So this month we have a big remix coming out for an artist that we've been listening to for years. So really stoked about that. It's one of our favorite remixes that we've probably ever done.
You guys have been rinsing it out in live shows,
Yeah,
right?
it's been the last song for our sets for like a really long time, probably since we made it, like I think a couple months ago. And so it finally got approved for release. So that's coming up next. We have a couple dates in new cities. I mean, we're going to Grand Rapids and Minneapolis this month with G-Rex and Buku. Shout out those guys for taking us on tour. Those literally like fucking inspirations to us.
OGs, bro. They're fucking dope.
Yeah, literally fucking those. There's some awesome dudes. But so that will wrap up the leg of that tour. So after that, we'll be done with that one, and then we got some more dates we're working on for the next year. Hopefully more festivals. Nothing confirmed yet, but hopefully. And then more remixes of like Suicide Boys, Ghostmane, like G59
Those
artists.
have been going off too, bro.
Yeah, really fun to make those.
And like really picks up the energy at your shows. Not that like the energy ever drops, but you guys start dropping those songs.
Yeah.
The verse sections come
They
in.
do well.
Everybody's fucking going crazy.
Yeah, they
bro.
do well.
The 2 shows that I went to for you guys drop a Suicide Boys remix and the whole crowd turns to a fucking mosh pit. It's
Yeah,
insane,
people go
dude.
crazy over it. So those have been really fulfilling to make. So more of those coming out this year. We got like 22, 23 songs like in the pipeline that are in our folder ready to come out. Doing another storyline EP that follows that world building kind of vibe again. So we're gonna start working on that soon. And yeah, just more fucking music, just consistently more music. Not gonna stop.
Well, I think we're all excited, bro. I'm definitely fucking excited. I feel like I've been a slang slut since the beginning. Like, I've been the biggest fan of your project.
The biggest
since the start,
slut.
bro. The biggest slut. The biggest little doggy dog slut. I don't even know what the fuck I said. But something that people may not know about you, but I know.
What
do you
know?
He's like, please enlighten me. Actually.
Do I know? What do I know?
We were driving in the car the other day, and you told me something that I was like, you've told me this before. And back in 2019, when we were at ICØN, I remember we were in one of the theaters, and you were like, I really want to start a house project.
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
And I was like, do it. And then just like a few days ago, same thing, same thought occurred. You told me, you're like, I really want to have a house project. And I was like, this is something that's been weighing on his mind for quite some time now. Can we expect a house project out of you anytime soon?
Not anytime soon.
Pipe dream right now.
It's a pipe dream right now. I would like to do one. I write house music for the Slang Dogs project, and I have a fucking blast doing it. It's one of my favorite genres to write. It's what got me into dance music.
It's
honestly.
really good. And I want to say that like, I've heard some of your unreleased house tunes that you got coming out for Slang Dogs.
Yeah.
And it's really impressive how you managed to take the Slang Dog sound and mesh it with house music.
Right.
Because it's fucking just still dark and gritty and
so fun.
very Slang Dogs. But it sounds
Thank you. I'm glad you like it because it's like I said, like house music was the first thing I started producing when I was trying to like make music in general.
And anytime we would go to shows together, it was always a house show.
Always.
I don't think I've ever been to like a lot of bass artists with you.
Hardly.
It was always like Mala, Chami, like all
Volak
these.
and Phlegmatic
exactly.
Dogs,
Fucking. I think we saw Wax Motif one time.
We did. That was fun. I'm huge into house. So like, maybe eventually. I think if I did do like a house side project, it would be something that's a little bit more like commercially like digestible. If I was to kind of categorize it.
Not as sacrificial, dark.
Well, yeah, sacrificial could be Slang Dogs though. That's why would I make a new project to be like sacrificial? Exactly.
Same.
So like if I want to make if I want to make gritty ass bass house, like I'm gonna keep it as a Slang Dogs thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to make the Slang Dogs project work first and then transition eventually and do like a side project on the side. Just because like I want to. Why start a side project if your main project is not where you want to be yet?
True.
True. So eventually, when I could just be like, as Slang Dogs, when we're popping like hard as fuck, be like, yo, here's a side project, and then just go play like, techno or something.
Would you tell them like, oh yeah, this is my side project, or would you keep it kind of mysterious? Like this could be anybody type of side project?
I might keep it mysterious.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I like that better when it's like a sense of mystery. You're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, people like that.
Yeah.
I could, definitely. But then like obviously like you just use your connections to promote that project,
It's like a Marshmallow type of situation.
Exactly.
You just rebrand, but you like same connections, you pop off or whatever. Well, obviously when you do release incognito house project, let me know. Fill me in the loop.
I got you. We'll make some house music too, because your house music is fucking gas too.
I'm down, bro.
I love your house.
This is a year where I plan on releasing a lot of house music that I've had in the works for a long
Kicking
time,
around.
bro. It's just more so like insecurities or like self-limiting beliefs keeping me from dropping like a lot of music. Like, I'm not fucking good enough, but fuck it, bro. Like
intrusive thoughts.
Intrusive thoughts win, bro. Like we fighting out here.
Yeah.
We going rounds.
Fighting for my life.
Yeah, going the distance, bro. All right. Who are some artists you're fucking with right now? I remember we had a conversation not too long ago where we were like, oh, I don't even listen to EDM anymore. We were like, what is EDM? I listen to like country now or whatever.
Right.
And just talking about how my music tastes have like evolved. So the music I'm making isn't relatively what I listen to all the time.
Yeah.
And you said it was kind of similar for you. So what kind of music are you feeling now? And then artists in the scene that you're fucking with as well.
Artists in the scene? Okay. I'll start with like the music that I'm really listening to right now, because it's been nice getting like away from dance music, honestly. And I'm listening to a lot more music in like my free time versus like just driving. Like bass music and driving, like I fuck with it because I have like a sub in my car, so I'm like, okay, it feels like it's at a show, kind of, you know. I really fuck with Joji right now.
Gas.
Yeah.
Oh, so good,
yeah,
bro.
I love Joji. He's fucking sick. Joji. Obviously, Suicide Boys is like I'm a huge fan of them. That I finally found like some like rap music that I like really fuck with. So
Pump?
no Lil Pump. No, I don't really like the SoundCloud rap like that.
That's a negative ghostwriter.
Yeah, definitely negative.
Well,
So,
what are some rappers you're fucking with?
so okay, literally all the guys on G59, which is like Suicide Boys label. So
Okay, cool.
I really fuck with Ramirez, Night Lavelle, love Shakewell. Puya, Ghostman, even though like they're not on G59, but I really fuck with those guys. I really just like a lot of like that kind of like almost like angsty rap. So some like smaller artists as well that I can't name off the top of my head, but been listening to a lot of like alternative rock lately.
Okay.
So like or like indie rock. So I in Denver, shout out to Madison. She put me on this one. She's probably not going to watch this, but I'll give you a shout out anyway.
I'll throw her up on the screen, bro. This is your section, Madison.
Yeah, shout out Madison. Put her on the screen. So she turned me on to this band called Turnover. And they're like really fucking good. They're more like kind of like indie rock, very like kind of like, I wouldn't say ethereal, but definitely not ethereal.
Ethereal rock. Ethereal.
Yeah. So they're really fun to listen to. Like just chill music, honestly, chill music, and then like fucking Suicide Boys style rap is what I've been listening to. As for people in the scene, like I guess I'll just say like people that I like really respect their production, and like I'm excited when they like put out new music. I think off the top of my head, I think Imanu is like somebody who is like very forward thinking musician. He's fucking sick. I really like Must Die. Eptic is somebody I've listened to for a really long time. You know, he's dubstep, but I still like really fuck with everything he puts out. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look at my Spotify real quick to see who I'm like really like listening to.
Really feeling out.
Yeah. Cause I have like my music taste is like all over the place. Like I listen to like fucking shit from the 80s.
I think that's kind of the key to being like a well-versed artist in general is you kind of have to like listen to a little bit of everything and then take inspiration from the things that like speak to you, you know?
Right. No,
and
exactly.
incorporate those into your work, whatever it may be.
100%. Let me see. Damn, I just have so much like, I like went back and like fucking liked all my like angsty teenage years music recently.
What's that little TikTok sound that's trending?
I wanna kill my mom.
I want to kill my dad.
I wanna kill my grandma.
Oh yeah, okay. So Jiki is somebody who's like in the dubstep scene that I really fuck with. I think all his dubstep is super sick. I've been a big fan of Eugene. Shout out Eugene. We've worked with him before. He's like one of our fucking best friends in the scene that we've made, and we consistently still talk and hang out and shit. Eugene is a cracked ass fucking producer. I love that kid so much.
He sings as well, right? Or
yeah, he does.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
falsetto bass music is his thing. Yeah,
ain't nobody doing it like that,
ain't
bro.
nobody doing it like that. So yeah, that's a couple people I've been like really fucking with. So yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. Well, shout out to
Big
all those
love.
guys. But to the guys that aren't quite on their level yet, there's a lot of people that are starting out producing, maybe want to get into it. Do you have any words of advice for the up and comers, the guys that want to give it a shot or aren't quite yet where they want to be?
Stay consistent and be very, very particular about like the samples and your methods that you choose to use in your music. So people always have the question of like, how do I create a sound? Like your sound is just like your habits. That's all it is. But people are like, well, I don't know how to craft a sound. Well, it's because you're fucking all over the place.
You're trying to do too much.
Yeah, you're trying to do too much. You're trying to use too many different sounds that are like so far disconnected from each other. And it's fine to do that if you stick with that formula, but like you have to have consistency. Like for us, like I said before, like our sound is derived from just constant habits. So if you're trying to create a sound or trying to get into music production in general, stay consistent, watch tutorials, and then once you know enough, this is my personal opinion, and people can disagree with me if they want to, but stop watching tutorials after you figure it out. Unless you like really, if you're comfortable with your music, I don't watch tutorials anymore at all.
I don't really watch tutorials either. And I remember when I started weaning off of tutorials and kind of like not going into them as much, it was more so not for creative things anymore, but more so for like arrangement things where I was like, okay.
Music theory stuff that you don't know.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel that. Also, bro, the biggest L YouTube took, in my opinion, was removing the dislike button. Because now you don't know if a tutorial is good or not. It used to be like you could jump into a tutorial,
see if it's good.
Yes, check the ratio, and you were like, "Oh, this is gonna be trash. Like I'm gonna just get out, find something else." You know?
Yeah.
Now you kind of have to like sift through the comments and be like,
"Is this good?
Is this useful? Like, what is?"
I haven't watched a tutorial in so long.
Yeah, bro.
And I see the benefit of it. I just think, I mean, like I said, like this is just me saying this. Like I'm not a fucking expert at. I'm not an expert at all things music production. So if you don't want to listen to me, don't listen to me. I don't give a fuck. It works for me. You know, I find creative ways to like make the shit that I have work. And I feel like our music doesn't all sound the same. So that obviously means something. Like I'm still experimenting and making, you know, different things work. Even though I'm not like looking up tutorials. So yeah, if you're trying to get into it, just be consistent, spend time. Like if you spend time in the DAW, like you'll eventually figure it out. And also, don't be a pussy.
Yeah. And also let the intrusive thoughts win and quit being a fucking bitch.
Exactly.
Damn, dude. Well, that's all I have in terms of questions, bro.
Dude, I had fun. Like, this was hella fun.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm happy, bro. I'm happy that you enjoyed this. And like I said, I'm happy that you even came through, bro. It truly means a lot. But I love you, Daddy. Come here, give me a kiss.
Give me hold your hand.
Oh, it's like that.
Move it down more. Ready? Ew, you got strong ass fingers.
Yeah, bro.
Damn.
You know, from climbing, bro. Damn. All right. Well, before we log out, where can the people find you?
Slang Dogs everywhere. We have our LLC. We have our trademarks. We have everything.
Own Slang Dogs.
Yeah, we fucking own it to the T. So
I'm CEO of Slang Dogs.
Type in Slang Dogs literally anywhere. You can find us. Spotify, SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Even though we don't post on YouTube. MySpace.
LinkedIn.
I should create a LinkedIn. Anyway, we're really easy to find. There's no really that really has that name. So
awesome, dude.
Pull up on us.
And then for my people, thank you for tuning in. Oh, also, I want to end with this. Dario has given me his blessing to, if you made it this far in the podcast, thank you for sticking around. We want to give you guys a little treat. So he said, we could play a little ID. You have anything in mind, or are you still going to send it to me later? I'll
send it to you, and then we'll just be a surprise. We'll talk about it.
All right, perfect. But that's
we'll do the remix.
Yeah. Is that allowed?
Yeah, it's allowed. Fuck it. Why not?
All right, cool. Well, that's the treat. It's some new unreleased Slang Dogs that he's got in the vault. But as always, guys, I'm sending love and positive energy your way. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of La Frequency. I
don't know what to do.
Along for the ride. All right, dude. Thank you.